will matter more than what we do, right? We are ultimately the vessels by which you empower us. And so I'm here to thank you. I'm here to plead for your additional activism. And I'm here to tell you that we have an opportunity in the next few weeks to save thousands and thousands of lives in this country. And if we do it, it will be because of all of you. Thank you very much, moms. Thank you very much, students. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being there for America's children. Thank you for not looking away. This morning in our caucus, we heard something so beautiful for the children from Lucy McBath, sharing her anguish, her grief, and turning it into action to save lives. Listening to her raises the question, why? Why would someone be against raising the age so that teenagers do not have AK-47? Why would someone not want protection in their homes so that children cannot have access dangerously to guns in a deadly way? Why would we not side with our law enforcement and say these ghost guns are a danger to all of us in our society? The list goes on, and today on the floor, we will be addressing those, and I'm very happy about it. Lucy challenged us to make history today. We will make history by making progress. Making progress. My concern with all of this now, gun violence has been an issue. Gun violence protection is something we have been all fighting. I salute Mike Thompson, the chair of our task force, for the work that they've been doing in a bipartisan way, But now they've crossed a threshold into schools. Chris Murphy, thank you for your persistent and great leadership. Tied to Newtown, but all throughout. Our children are our future. President Kennedy said our children are our greatest resource and our best hope for the future. They are our precious treasure. We must not have them be afraid to go to school or go to church or go to the movies or anything else. We owe it to the children to preserve a culture in which they are, again, protected. This gun issue, this violence issue could change the culture of America. Yes, they say mental health issues. Yes, we want to address mental health issues. Other countries have mental health issues. They don't have a gun violence epidemic. So for the children, I say to our colleagues, we really don't want to hear about your political survival. Your political survival means nothing compared to the survival of our children. So thank you, Moms Demand Action. We had our kickoff event last week in San Francisco. Mom Demand Action. Sharon Watts, where is she? Sharon, thank you. I don't know where she is, but Sharon Watts, thank you for your leadership in this regard. A little girl, 5th grade, spoke. She lost on 2 different occasions both of her parents to gun violence. Grade school children being advocates for gun violence protection in our country, as well as moms and dads who've lost their children. You all are really the key. As Chris Murphy was saying, we can just do so much in terms of our inside maneuvering. Without the outside mobilization, we cannot have the level of success that our children need, that they deserve, and that we will not stop until we provide for them. Thank you, Moms Demand Action. Thank you, every town. Thank you all for not looking away. Thank you so much.
amazing Senator Blumenthal. Well, good morning. Moms demand action for gun sense in America. Good morning to all of my family, my friends, survivors, activists, every single one of you on the front lines trying to save as many lives as you can. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are our allies in this critical push to change the gun culture of America. I know you're exhausted. I know you're tired. Amen. No ways tired. But all of us, we're all the American majority. We're exhausted because we cannot continue to be the only country in the world where we let gun violence happen again and again and again. An entire generation of children is learning that the adults that they believe in, that they look up to, cannot or will not work to protect them. We all agreed that this status quo is unacceptable. We all understand that the murder of our children, the murder of my child, cannot and will not continue on our watch. We need improved background checks and, yes, federal red flag laws, which Senator Blumenthal and I champion. Federal red flag laws. We need the tools. We need these tools so that our loved ones and law enforcement can help to keep guns out of the hands of people who should not have access to them. We need you. We need you. The American people, we need you. These are all hands-on-deck moments at this time. America needs your voices. Do not back down. Do not stand on the sidelines. Too much is at stake. There are no safe places in America anymore. No safe places. Each and every one of us knows someone or knows of someone that has been affected by unnecessary gun violence. We need your power and your influence now more than we ever have. How many more victims of unnecessary gun violence must we have? How many more victims must we memorialize? What rights do our children have as they grow in our homes and they grow in our hearts? How many more parents must receive that same heart-wrenching, debilitating, soul-wrenching call that I received the night that I found out that my son Jordan was murdered? A phone call that confirms a fear, our singular fear, that my child is dead, that my loved one is dead, and I was simply unable to protect them. The phone call that leads you to cry out to God for your grief. Was my child afraid? Did he feel pains as bullets ripped through his body? Did he know he was loved more than he could ever understand? We can do better than this, America. We must do better than this, America. We cannot be the only nation in the world where our children are torn apart on Tuesday and simply forgotten about by the media on Wednesday. And that is why, in the decade since my son was taken from me, I made a promise to him. I made a promise to you. I made a promise to my country and my community that I would fight for the rest of my life, the fight that makes sure that there are no more parents who are forced to join us in this ever-growing club of gun violence survivors, and that I and so many of us here are part of. I promise that I would take all the love and the devotion that a mother has for her child, and I would give it to you, my community, my country, to make sure that you never experience what I have experienced. All that love that I poured out on my son Jordan, that I would do everything in my power to keep Jordan's community safe, that the time would come where we could make a difference in the lives of our children and our children's children. This is that time. This is the moment. That time is now. We are facing the challenge of our lifetime. This is the challenge of our era. And we must win. God bless you all. Continue to fight on the front lines. Continue to speak with your voices. Do not step away. This is a long fight, but we're here to fight it until the end because we must. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you my partner in the Senate, Senator Blumenthal, as we are partners in passing the federal red flag law.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so proud to stand with Lucy McBath, one of the smartest, strongest, most courageous women and moms in the entire United States. And I want to say to my Senate colleagues, if Lucy McBath can stand here and speak through her pain and her grief to talk to America about her loss and about the need for change, you can stand up to the gun lobby and the NRA and do the right thing. You ought to have half the courage that Lucy McBath does in standing here today. So I have a simple question for you. What do moms demand? Action! What do students demand? Action! What does America demand? Action! And are we going to have action? Yes! You're going to make it happen. And I want you to look around because you are in the center of power, the seat of government, one of the iconic places in the whole world, the Washington Monument behind you, the Capitol over here in front of you. You are going to get it done, and I hope that you will have this moment to tell your grandchildren about. You were there. You made a difference, and have no doubt, ever, you are making a difference. You have formed a political movement. It's grassroots, it's groundswell, and that's the reason that our colleagues are going to be at the table, as we are right now, negotiating. As Nancy Pelosi has said, the moment has found us. The moment has found you. The moment has found America. And we can't look away. So say to my colleagues, don't look away. Don't look away. Don't look away. Now, I have just two more points. Number one, I want these negotiations to succeed. I want them to succeed more than anything else I've worked on right here. More than anything else I've worked on in recent history. But I'm not going to accept window dressing. I'm not going to accept fig leaves and check the box kind of solutions. We can save lives. For me, that's the key measure. Will it save lives? Because you're here to save lives. And if we do our job, we will save lives. But if my colleagues, and I'm not naming names, but you'll see by the voting records, who is failing to do their jobs, if they fail to do their jobs, they ought to be out of a job. So tell me, vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. Let me just tell you, that's the voice they need to hear. You're the face they need to hear. And we need to put gun violence prevention on the ballot this November and ask tough questions. And if they can't answer them, vote them out. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. And I am proud to introduce the leader of the United States Senate, who has a history of combating gun violence prevention going back decades, a hero in this movement, my colleague, Senator Schumer.
And let's hear it for Senator Blumenthal. Now, I want to tell you how I got started in politics. There was an evil war, the Vietnam War. As a student, I protested and protested and protested, and we didn't stop protesting until we won and we got out of that awful war. We are going to do the same thing with guns. We are going to protest and protest and protest until we win. And we will win. 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 So, folks, I mean, we've seen what has wrenched our hearts. I was up in Buffalo, a day or two after the shooting. I saw a little 3-year-old boy. His dad had gone to the supermarket right there in Buffalo to buy him a birthday cake. Of course, his dad never came back. And he was shot for 2 reasons. He was black and he was in a supermarket. That's it. And then we all saw the pictures of the people holding pictures of their children from Uvalde. Every one of us who has had a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, 11-year-old remembers how proud they were when they held up that trophy or wore that T-shirt. And these kids are gone. Gone. All because, in 2 instances, evil people, 18-year-olds, were able to get their hands much too easily on an AR-15, which shouldn't be on our streets at all. Do you know how many mass shootings there have been this year? 250. That's more than 1 a day. We hear about some, we don't hear about others, and all the gun violence that occurs on street corners, in cities and in suburbs and in rural areas. Every day we lose beautiful people to gun violence. And all of that could be stopped. Could be stopped. We know the grip that the NRA has on the MAGA Republicans. But the NRA, we say to the NRA, get out of our way. Good. NRA, get out of our way. 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 So I want to thank you. Just as I have found throughout my life, my father passed away in November. And he taught me 2 things. 2 things. Number 1, always help people who need help. And the more they need help, the more the imperative is on you to help them. But second, if you do the right thing and you persist, you will succeed. God will reward you. So we are doing the right thing, and we are going to persist until we win. Thank you. Keep up the fight. We will win this fight. Thank you very much, everybody. And let me introduce one of the great, I was the author of the Brady Law when I was in the House. Mike wasn't there yet. I carried the assault weapons ban and passed it over the NRA's opposition. Both of these when I was in the House. And when I left the House, a great guy came on, took the lead on these issues and was fighting in exactly the same way. Let me introduce from the great state of California, the great fighting Congressman Mike Thompson of California.
Chuck, thank you very much. It's a great honor for me to be here today with such heroes. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Alex Padilla, Lucy McBath. She is absolutely incredible. And the biggest heroes of all of you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for insisting that we don't look away. And make sure that we hold legislators' feet to the fire. Make sure that our Congress people do not look away. They understand the magnitude of this problem. They understand that the American people want gun violence prevention legislation passed and signed into law. The American people are united in enough. So today in the House, under Speaker Pelosi's leadership, we're going to pass a package of bills. And these bills are focused on gun violence prevention, and most important, they're focused on saving lives. We've had too many mass shootings. Every day, 30 people are killed by someone using a gun. You had suicides and accidents. It goes up to 100 people a day. Enough. This package of bills, the Protecting Our Kids Act, will save lives. When you put a law in the book that breaks bad on gun trafficking and straw purchasing, it saves lives. When you put a law in the books that says you have to be 21 to buy an assault weapon, it saves lives. When you put a bill on the floor, a law in the books that says no more ghost guns, no more bump stocks, it saves lives. When you put a law in the books that says you have to store your firearms safely, it saves lives. When you put a cap on the capacity for magazines, it saves lives. Today, we're going to pass legislation over to the Senate that will save lives. And we're able to do it because of all of you and the hundreds of thousands of others like you across the country that are demanding action, that are demanding that we pass laws that save lives. I'm a responsible gun owner. I believe in the Second Amendment. Everything we're doing fits into those confines. Everything we are doing is appropriate. Everything we're doing saves lives. Don't look away. Don't let the Congress members look away. Let's pass these laws. And now it's a great honor for me to introduce a friend of mine and a great senator from my state, California, Senator Alex Padilla.
Give it up for Congressman Mike Thompson. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the invitation to be with you all again. Thank you for being here again today. Thank you for your activism. Thank you for your passion. Thank you. I last stood with Everytown just a couple of weeks ago as we mourn the horrific mass shooting of 9 and 10-year-olds in Uvalde, Texas. And in the 12 days since then, I know we heard the numbers of mass shootings for the year, but just in the days since Uvalde, we've experienced more than 33 mass shootings across the country. Students are demanding action. Moms are demanding action. Our country is demanding action. And so, yes, we're working on legislation to try to make progress. You heard from Senator Murphy earlier, and I am hopeful. But we have to keep up the pressure. Our country needs us to keep up the pressure. Our kids need us to keep up the pressure because we cannot accept this violence as a fact of life in America. It is not normal. It is not normal. We're outraged. We need Republican members of Congress to also be outraged. The American people should feel safe when we go to the grocery store. Everybody in America should feel safe when we go to a house of worship, when we celebrate graduations and birthdays, and when we drop our kids off at school. We should know that they're going to be safe for the day, and they're going to come home with so many looking forward to summer vacation. I know my kids are counting the days because it's down to 3. They deserve action. Now, there's no words to describe or console the grief of the parents who lost their babies in Uvalde, Texas. No way. Nowhere. And nowhere else. And I know it's cliche, we're tired of just sending our thoughts and prayers. It's okay to send thoughts and prayers, but thoughts and prayers are clearly not enough. Not enough. Our communities demand and deserve action. There should not be a conflict between the Second Amendment and the lives and the futures of second graders. Save our children. So let me just, I'll wrap it up with this. Because we're here to demand action. Every member of Congress shouldn't just listen to us demanding action. We should, in our souls and in our hearts, know that our country deserves action. Our communities deserve action. Students deserve action. Moms deserve action. Our children, the next generation, deserve action, and we're going to act. And with that, it is now my honor to introduce the next speaker, the mayor of the District of Columbia, Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. I'm a mom, and I demand action. I'm pleased to be here with moms who demand action. I want to welcome you to your nation's capital. And I want you to know that you are joined by a team of Washingtonians who refuses to give up this fight until Congress does its job. I'm joined today by members of my peace team. Linda Harley-Harper, who is the first director of our Gun Violence Prevention Office, our deputy mayor for public safety, our director of African American Affairs, our director of victim services, and our chief of staff for the Violence Prevention Office. This is what they do every day. Keep us safe from guns. Last week, I stood with a mom. Her name is Crystal McNeil. Crystal is a mom of Davon McNeil. Davon was 11 years old when he was shot and killed by a stray bullet in Washington, D.C. on July 4th of 2020. Crystal has been through the unimaginable, but even through her grief, she continues to advocate for and work towards a future with fewer guns on our streets and more peace for our children. We owe it to Crystal, every mom, dad, child, and grandma, every person in our country who carries with them every single day the trauma of gun violence. We owe it to them to pass common sense gun reforms in our country. Whether we're talking about a mass shooting in a grocery store or in an elementary school or an 11-year-old boy like Devon, who wore number 3 on his jersey, who was just walking home from a barbecue, or a little girl, Nia Courtney, who was just standing on a corner near her home. We have to act now. I know I speak for a lot of America's mayors. Mayors are on the front lines. We can't afford to walk away and not do our jobs every single day, and we can't let this Congress do it either. People in America's cities and towns are scared. They're frustrated. Our parents are scared and frustrated just to drop their kids off at school. Today, we are America's majority. We represent those who think that there is a better path forward. It is common sense to require background checks for guns. It is common sense to ban AR-15s. It is common sense to require red flag laws and to ban weapons of war on our streets. We know that common sense ain't that common. So that's why Moms Demand has to remind everybody every single day that we are voters and we matter. We speak for the majority of Americans who want change. Let me tell you about my town. We have the strongest gun laws in the country in Washington, D.C. But it's not just enough for us to do it one city or one state at a time. We know that guns travel across state lines, and so do the people who buy them, so that they can use them to assault us. So on behalf of 700,000 Washingtonians, taxpayers, I want to thank you for pushing Washington, this Washington, to act. It is during fights like this when we are reminded about the glaring disenfranchisement of D.C. residents. And it's about more than our representation. It's about your representation, too. We need 2 senators from Washington, D.C. Those senators will represent our values, and I assure you they will be for common sense gun reform. So let's keep pushing, moms. You know how the saying goes. There's nothing like a ticked-off group of moms who are organized to change the world. Moms Demand Action. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank all of the Gun Sense champions who were here today. Let's give them a round of applause. And next, we are going to hear from some members of our Everytown family and from a number of partners who do this work every day to end gun violence. First up, Army veteran, survivor of gun violence, and incredible Moms Demand Action volunteer from South Carolina, Melody McFadden.
Thank you, Shannon, for all that you do for all of us. I just want to say, hey, y'all, that's South Carolina speak for hello out there. My name is Melody Geddes McFadden, and I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a veteran, a proud Army veteran, and I'm a Mimi of 22. So these thoughts are very important to me. These actions are very important to me because it's my family at stake. It's your family at stake, and that means everything. I just want to say, because our students are here today, I want to salute you and say that because of you, our future is brighter. To all of the survivors here, I want to say to you, I honor you and all of our taken loved ones, and my voice is our voice. I'm a survivor of gun violence because my mother, Patricia Ann, and my niece, Sandy Patrice, along with several other loved ones of my family, were taken in senseless gun violence. It breaks my heart every day that I have to do this work, but it is what needs to be done so that no one else understands what we go through every single day. I'm an Army veteran, and I know that many Army veterans, Navy, all of the armed forces are losing people every day to gun violence. It's something that we must talk about. We served, and we need to protect our veterans. I just want to say that many times when I'm out here and I'm talking about my loved ones, I hear from politicians and others, our thoughts and prayers are with you. As a minister of the gospel, as a member of the clergy, I know all about prayers and faith. And prayers are very valuable. They work. But the word also says, faith without work is dead. So we want you to hear us, and we want you to see us, and we want you not to forget us. So go ahead and think. Go ahead and pray. But right behind that, act. Do something. We want the Senate to act now.
Good morning. My name is Art Acevedo, and I was a police chief in 3 cities, in Austin, in Houston, and in Miami. And I'm honored to be here today on behalf of the mothers, the fathers, the brothers, the sisters, the Christians, the non-believers, the Americans that are tired of the death and destruction in this country with inaction for 20 years from the Senate. I'm here because for 35 years, I got to see firsthand what happens because of this inaction. You see, mass shooters that go into Uvalde. Why are we here today? Because children, little girls had more courage in the face of death than Ted Cruz has in his pinky. We're here today for children. We're here today for our brothers and sisters. We're here today to back the blue. I don't need you to back the blue in words. I need you to back the blue in deeds. Those cops may have cowered, but they were facing death. All you're facing here is the loss of an election. Why do you think God put you there? You are the cowards. And I'm not here as a Republican. I'm not here as a Democrat. I'm not here as a conservative. I'm not here as a liberal. I am here as an American and a child of God to say enough is enough. Don't look away. Lead. And if all you're going to offer, Ted Cruz, is thoughts and prayers, because I've seen your face at these shooting scenes. I've been there with you. I don't need your thoughts and prayers. I need you to use the door that the good Lord opened to you to act. We need action. And if all you're going to offer is your thoughts and prayers and the speaking points that the NRA and the gun lobby, which is out of touch with its own membership, because conservatives are tired, gun owners are tired, then you have one of 2 choices. Become a member of the clergy or be a lobbyist, but get the hell out of office. Thank you all. Don't look away.
It's so good to be back. I started my career in GVP wearing that red t-shirt right down there. And before I start today, I want to talk about those t-shirts. I'm wearing a blue t-shirt today because I work for Gabby Giffords. I want to talk about everybody here and how we partner to make things better. That it doesn't matter what color t-shirt you're wearing as long as the right message is on that t-shirt. And that we're going to partner together to make a difference this time. Somebody said before they were tired. I'm angry. So you all know, some of you know me and some of you don't, but I've been a firearms instructor for close to 25 years. I know that my Second Amendment rights and supporting practical gun safety measures are not mutually exclusive, they are necessary and prudent and urgent. I am not your usual gun safety advocate, but I should be. I have taught marksmanship and pistol craft for over 2 decades. I am a survivor of gun violence, and I've lost 4 people close to me in the last 6 years to firearm suicide. Gun violence leaves more than just scar tissue. It leaves you with more than physical damage. It leaves you with holes in your heart that tear at your soul. So we're going to fight for the soul of America, and we're going to win. So I used to be that guy who asked for a moment of silence. I was that guy. Some of you heard me speak. I always used to ask. So I got a different ask today. Don't you ever, ever, ever be silent again. A tragedy is never positive, but if you have any questions about the need for our voices and the need to stand up and why your voices right here need to be heard, you need to know it hasn't just been since Columbine. It hasn't been just Sandy Hook or Pulse. This goes all the way back to the 1970s when semi-automatic weapons started coming home from Vietnam. This has been since it affected our inner cities and gang violence and rural violence. It's not a condition of geography. It is a national condition. It affects all of us. So one of my mentors is sitting behind me. Brenda, this is for you. I use the line with my friends, I'm okay, but I'm not all right. Well, I'm not okay and I'm not all right. I'm a gun owner and I'm angry. I want to dispel a myth here today. Somehow, some way, the NRA has been able to convince this country that every single gun owner is lockstep with them. That's a lie. That's a lie. I am a gun owner, I am a firearms trainer, and the NRA does not speak for me. I told you before I was angry. I'm angry that the leading cause of death for children 0 to 19 are bullets. I'm angry that in the state of Michigan, when I had to give a speech last winter, I had to change it 5 times because 5 more babies had died because people were irresponsible in the storage of their weapons. I'm angry that when I was on vacation seeing my best friend in Indianapolis, there was a mass shooting on the ground. I couldn't escape. It didn't matter where I went. It doesn't matter where we go. It's everywhere. So my anger has been a steady rise to a vicious boil. And I was going to say it's days like these it boils over, but the truth is it's boiling over all the time. It's boiling over every day, every hour, every minute, second. I always seem to be angry now. So be angry with me. I told you that I lost 4 people in 6 years to firearm suicide. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. If I'd had a red flag law, 2 of those people would be alive today. If we'd had an ERPO, 2 of those people would be alive today. And if we'd had a safe storage law, 2 more of those people would be alive today. And I'm telling you, and I'm going to give on this one, if we treated mental illness seriously in this country, 2 more of those people would be alive today. So I told you I'm angry. I'm going to turn that anger into action, and I want all of you to do it with me. I'm going to make partners here, but we're advocates. We need to break down doors. As an advocate, I'm going to make them so tired of seeing me in person, they'll see me in their sleep. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to stand in front. And to the members of Congress on the side of the aisle who are too cowardly to save our children, you should too. Thank you.
My name is Kelly Diane Galloway, and I'm born and raised in Buffalo, New York. My fight is simple. I fight against human trafficking and for women who have escaped the most unimaginable situations or horrific situations. I work with little black girls and little brown girls who are a part of at-risk populations. I teach them to love their beautiful black and brown skin. I teach them that they can change the world. And I teach them that freedom is not just a privilege, but it is their right. But what good is freedom without safety? What good is freedom if they can't go to the grocery store and buy a bag of chips without having to hide in a freezer because someone has opened up fire in the only grocery store in their community? What good is freedom if they can't go to school and be sure that they will make it back home so their parents can tuck them in at night? What good is freedom if my family can't heal from January 5th, 1998, when my hero was gunned down walking home from the store? See, less than a month ago, there was a terrorist attack by a white supremacist that hunted people that looked like me down in a grocery store. Since then, some people have come to Buffalo to help, and some people have left. The cameras came, the cameras are gone. And now Buffalo, with some of our allies like the Community Justice Action Fund, are still working to heal the city. But we're calling on our elected officials to do what we elected them to do. And in simple ways for me to be able to put that is, we want them to do something that I teach all of our girls. And that is to be a thermostat and not a thermometer. See, a thermometer reacts to its environment. It reacts to the temperature around it. But elected officials are called to be thermostats. Their assignment and their duty and their job is to shift and to change and to bring the community action that we need present. I don't want to see any more temperature takers in elected seats. I want to see thermostats. I want to see people who are really about that life, really about bringing change that we need. We need background checks. We need funding for community organizations like mine that help prevent gun violence. We need a ban on assault rifles. We need a hate crime bill so that people that look like me can actually feel safe. I love prayer, but I also need policy changes as well. Remember what I said before about what good is freedom without safety? Well, let me tell you the truth. There is no freedom without safety. And I'll close with this. We can only truly be the land of the free when our elected officials become brave enough to make a change. God bless you.
It is now my privilege to introduce Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who has been fighting for this for decades. She is also the lead sponsor of the Protect Our Kids Act. Congresswoman.
I am humbled, but I am hurt. I am humbled, but I am hurt. Just a moment, because obviously the people who are both the victims and all of you who have been on the battlefield, I want to be able to hear you. But I stepped out of an oversight hearing where victims are now testifying in the House. In a few minutes, we'll go to the floor of the House because we will take those pictures, those bodies, that hurt, that pain, all of what you represent today, the years of your investment. What a shame that you've had to come year after year after year. And so my words are simply this. As you heard Matthew speak yesterday, we spoke again this morning in my office. I want to find the people who are willing to see your humanity, your pain. I want them to feel what Uvalde parents, like I went down there just a week ago. They need to be able to feel Buffalo, Columbine, Aurora. They need to feel Tulsa. They need to feel Parkland. They need to feel what is happening. That is humanity. And then we need to put a little dot of something in our drinks called courage. Called courage, the courage that brought you here, the courage that would allow those victims to sit in that committee room, can you imagine, and tell about the son they lost, or the daughter they lost that's 9 years old. And then, as the Keeping the Protection of Children, Protecting Children's Act, that I'm joined with Chairman Nadler and Chairman Thompson as lead sponsors, that combines all that you've said. They need to have the word action, and they need to go forth. They need to walk. They need to run. They need to climb whatever mountain they can climb to be able to tell you that we are not going back. We're not going back. And if there's one gun responsible owner in America, gun responsibility, it's not the Second Amendment. It is gun responsibility. If we have guns, be responsible. Store your guns. Take ghost guns off the street. Take magazines off the street. Raise the age. Ban assault-style weapons. Make sure we stop trafficking. Make sure that we understand that it's the people that count. So I leave you by simply saying, I have a dose of courage that is going to be as big as the widespread of the humanity that is in this place. And then I'm going to take my shoes, take my heart, take my vote, take my voice, and I'm going to be able to act on your behalf. Thank you. I am humbled, but I am hurt. I'm humbled, but I am hurt. God bless you all.
Hey there. I'm Liz Dunning. I want to thank Everytown Moms Demand and Students Demand for hosting us today. I'm with Brady, and I'm also a survivor of gun violence. In 2003, my mom was shot and killed answering the door of her home. Her murder went unsolved for more than 10 years. Her killer brought to justice in 2015, and not until after he killed 2 more people. It wasn't until that moment of justice that, frankly, I had long ago stopped waiting for, that I began to find my voice as an advocate. Before then, my own survival felt like all the action that I could take. So while I'm not new to the pain of gun violence, I am new to this world of advocacy, new to a community of other people with similar trauma and similar hurt. Over the last few weeks in particular, it has been powerful, overwhelming, instructive to be in connection with so many survivors. Among all the voices I've heard, one has stuck with me. Nelba Marquez Green, Isaiah and Anna's mom from Newtown. She said, "We must ask more of the hurting than we do, more of the powerful than we do of the hurting." Yes. We must. And today, I am specifically talking to the 100 members of the United States Senate, 100 of the most powerful people in the world. And let me be clear, I'm not asking the United States Senate to hold me when I weep. I'm not asking them to understand what it's like to wake up from dreams that are dark and twisted. I'm not asking them to explain to my children why their grandmother is not here. I have a community that has held me, that has held my hair back, that has heard me wail. I am asking the Senate to act and use their power to pass needed gun violence prevention laws right now. We know that to date they have failed. They have sat on 2 bills that the United States House of Representatives passed with a bipartisan majority over a year ago. Since they passed, over 50,000 Americans have died from gun violence. Those bills would expand and strengthen Brady background checks policies that over 90% of Americans support. You know this. They will immediately make Americans safer, saving American families from the pain that mine will carry forever. Ensuring that prohibited purchasers like the man that killed my mother can't buy a gun. The Senate must assume the mantle of leadership and take action against an epidemic that's killing more than 100 Americans every day. I'm grateful for the courage, the voice, the bold action of survivors, all of us hurting and beautiful together. And yes, the United States Senate must hold our gaze now, must not look away, but be reminded in the moment more than just our hurting, our pain, our trauma, their fear. They must be reminded in that moment, in that gaze, of their power to take action now and save American lives. We must ask more of the powerful than we do of the hurting.
My name is Zoe Teray. I'm an 18-year-old recent graduate from Oxford High School, and I'm a youth member with March for Our Lives. I needed that, so thank you. November 29th, 2021. November 29th was the last good day. Besides COVID, me and my classmates at Oxford High School had been having a semi-normal year. We had football games, homecoming, and classes that felt too long. Little did we know that November 29th would be the last normal day. November 30th, 2021. November 30th is a day that haunts me. 12:45, my friends and I are usually late to class after lunch, but decided to be on time that day. My friend asked me if we hear a noise like pops like balloons somewhere in the school. I say no, and some girls say yes. 12:51, it happens. We realize the sounds weren't balloons after all. I grab my phone from the charger, 11%. We sit in the back of the room. We talk, we text, we call, we cry. We wait in terror, fearing for our lives until the gunfire comes to an end. That day, a shooter entered Oxford High School and left 4 of my classmates dead. I will never get the chance to greet Justin in the hallways again. I will never again get the chance to be annoyed by how loud he was at football games. I will never get another pool day with Madison, her little sisters, and Emma. I will never get to hear, as I'm sure it was a privilege, Hannah's infectious laugh. This heartbreak doesn't include the side effects of trauma. Over these past 6 months, I have barely slept one peaceful night. I wake up not knowing the year, and I don't want to look at my phone to check. I am and always will be on my guard, searching frantically for any sign of danger. Nothing about this has been easy. I was drowning. Now I'm floating. I want to be able to swim in this sea of grief, or not in a sea of grief. The number of shootings this year is unequivocally devastating. More shootings than there are days in the year is the new normal. Guns being the leading cause of death in children is the new normal. Our elected officials have the power to save the next child, the next teacher, the next victim. These laws that need to be passed, universal background checks, extreme risk protection orders, safe storage requirements, they can change this epidemic, this plague for the better. Save the next Madison, the next Justin, the next Tate, the next Hannah. Save them before it's too late.
Can we celebrate not only Zoe, but all of the idealistic young people who are going to lead this movement so we win? Can you stay here for a minute? I'm Rabbi Jonah Pesner, the director of the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism, the largest and most diverse denomination in Jewish life. And I asked Zoe to stand here with me and the other faith leaders because we need her strength right now, because our faith is being tested. I am a rabbi. I am a rabbi who has sat with, mourned with, and wept with the families at Dor Chadash Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh who were gunned down by a white supremacist, anti-black racist, anti-Jewish thug who believed in forgive me. He believed in the replacement lie that Jewish people are conspiring in a plot to turn America black, brown, and Muslim. And what we saw in the Tree of Life was the toxic mix of white supremacy and the plague of gun violence in America, where there are more guns than people. God help us. I am a rabbi who sat with and mourned with and helped heal the children and their parents in Parkland at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. I am a rabbi who has stood with too many pastors and imams and faith leaders outside supermarkets and churches, too many streets where every day is a mass shooting and a massacre of gun violence. Every week as a Jew, I bless my children with these words, taken from this week's Torah portion. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, may God shine upon you and give you grace. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God look you in the eyes and in so doing give you peace. As a father, how can I bless my children when we live in a country where our children are not safe and are not protected in their churches, in their synagogues, in their mosques, in their schools, and on their streets? Congress, listen! The voice of the blood of your children is crying out to you from the earth. I'm a rabbi, so I think a lot. I'm a rabbi, so I pray a lot. Enough! Action! Policy! End the plague of gun violence and end it now. Can I get an amen?
Amen and amen. My name is Reverend Dr. Leslie Copeland Toon. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the National Council of the Churches of Christ in the USA. And I'm like you, I'm here today to say enough is enough. I've had enough. We've had enough. The civil rights activist and organizer Fannie Lou Hamer once said, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And her words resonate today because we are sick and tired. We are sick of our children being gunned down in schools. We are tired of lawmakers doing nothing about it. We are sick of our elders being murdered in grocery stores. We are tired of the gun lobby telling us we have to live like this. We are sick of white supremacists using guns to terrorize our communities. And we are tired of thoughts and prayers that are being used as excuses to do nothing. We are sick and tired, and we have had enough. Now, I come from a Baptist tradition, so I believe in the power of prayer. And I believe that prayer is an action word. So it is long past time for Congress to turn their thoughts and prayers into action.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And for those of us gathered here today, we can pray for them. We can pray that they have courage, but we can act to make sure that they vote for common law, common sense gun legislation. We can pray for them to do more than they have been doing, but if they don't, we can act and make sure they get voted out of office. Prayer and action go together, and don't let anybody tell you they don't. Now, we cannot allow our lawmakers to sit and watch by while ordinary activities, my God, going to the grocery store, going to the movies, going to a concert, all of those end in gun violence and turn into our worst nightmares. No more.
No more. No more.
We must continue to demand action. We cannot look away. We cannot get tired. We cannot grow weary. We must act and pray and hold our legislators accountable for this moment. We are tired. We won't take it anymore. We can't stop. We won't stop. God bless you. Good afternoon, everybody. I didn't prepare anything, so I'm just going to talk. I hope that's okay. So my name is Zanetta Everhart. I am the mother of Zaire Gutman. My son was the only black survivor of the top shooting in Buffalo, New York on May 14th. And he's doing good. He's doing good. I've been very open about Zaire's progress and that he now has nurses coming to the house every day to clean his wounds. And that was a recommendation by my psychiatrist because now I am having nightmares because I have to see his wounds every day. Zaire currently has shrapnel that is starting to come out of his skin, and the doctor said he'll probably live with that for the rest of his life. It's hard to see what was left by a terrorist on my child's body. It's really, really hard to see. But he's alive. He's alive, and he is well. And so I'm one of the lucky few. I'm one of the lucky few who get to tell the story about, you know, my son's injuries, but he's still with us. So I stand here today before you as a mother of a son who, as I tell everybody, he's pure joy. I call him the kid because he's 21, but he still has this kid spirit that's just unshakable. You know, my son, at the age of 8, he was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which is on the autism spectrum. But he didn't let that define him, right? Like, he went on to, you know, he went to one of the best schools in the city of Buffalo. He graduated high school. He went on to college. You know, he is pure joy. And he didn't deserve what happened to him. He didn't deserve what happened to him. And nobody does. You are absolutely right. No one does. No mother should stand up here and have to tell stories like this. I do want to tell you before I leave, the day my son was shot, you know, normally when a tragic incident like that happens, you know, it's a doctor who calls you to tell you about your loved one, or, you know, it's a police officer. It was Zaire who called me right after he was shot. And he said, Mom, I've been shot. And I wasn't close to him.
we lived just blocks from that grocery store, and I was a few miles away at a different grocery store. And so the heartbreak that I was feeling in that moment and not being able to get to him, it still lives with me today. But I am here today before you because I just spoke in front of Congress. And this is a sad situation. It is a hurtful situation. But I'm a fixer, and I believe in fixing problems. And so today I told Congress our problem. We have a gun problem in this country. We have a racism problem in this country. And we have an education problem. And I stand again before you, and hopefully they're watching, to say, I urge you, I plead with you, I beg you, I will help you do whatever is necessary to pass common sense gun laws in this country. Thank you all.
Good day, everyone. My name is Nicole Zamora, and I'm a special education teacher for students with autism in Jersey City, New Jersey. So I moved to Miami, Florida in 1990 when I was 9 years old from Colombia because of the violence and corruption during that time. It is the same reason that many other people from the Latinx community move here, because of the violence and the corruption in their country. When I moved to Miami, I felt like I was in Latin America all over again, reliving the violence and corruption all over again. I came to realize that the promise of safety that the United States was made to be wasn't true. I've seen many of my peers become victims of gun violence or go to prison because of the gang influence that led them in the direction to commit gun violence. I had a gun pointed in my direction while walking with a friend in South Beach. Luckily, someone is able to calm that armed man down, and no one was shot that night. My first lockdown experience was in 2004. At an elementary school, I was a third grade inclusion teacher, and it was also my first year teaching. Just looking at my students hide underneath their desks, I came to realize that if someone came into our classroom to shoot us, we would all be dead. My second lockdown experience was in December 2019, after a mass shooting against the Jewish community in Jersey City. Again, I was in lockdown with my students with autism until 7 p.m. And again, luckily, no one in my school was hurt that day. One student in my classroom had asked me if he could call his mom. He called his mom, and the first thing he said to his mom was, "Mom, we're going to die." That moment was forever drilled in my head, listening to my students say, "Mom, we're going to die." And every time I hear about another school shooting, it takes me back to my childhood and my lockdowns, because I think that could have been me. Now I also have to worry about my 12-year-old daughter's safety and worry if she could be next. Since the shooting in Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida, I said enough is enough. I decided to take action by doing what I can to advocate against gun violence, by doing what I do best, and that is to educate. I and many volunteers from every town in Moms Demand Action work across the country to educate parents, caregivers, parents, etc., about the importance of safe storage, whether you're a gun owner or not a gun owner, through the Be Smart for Kids program. I don't know about you, but I am sick and tired of seeing children and teachers die because we have cowards in the Senate that refuse to stand up to the NRA. Cowards that have the audacity to show up to an NRA convention after the death of 21 innocent lives, but yet won't allow guns in their own convention. I am tired of these neighboring states refusing to join states like New Jersey in passing common gun sense laws. I blame them for making our state vulnerable to criminals who bring weapons from their states. I'm furious that the senators who refuse to pass simple gun sense laws like background checks, red flag laws, regulate assault weapons, raise the age to purchase a gun, and repeal the PLCAA. And for those who think that we're out to take all of your guns away, which one of them says we're taking all of your guns away? None of them do. Y para mi gente latina de Uvalde, te quiero y les mando un abrazo. Rezo por sus hijos y rezo que Dios le dé la fuerza a cada uno de los padres para seguir luchando. No se rindan. Y para todos los latinos aquí presentes, aunque venimos de diferentes países y aunque nuestras culturas y costumbres sean diferentes, todos tenemos algo en común. Y eso es el amor de nuestras familias para mantenerlos seguros. Y en los ojos de esos cobardes senadores que no quieren pasar leyes que nos puedan proteger, hay que unirnos más que nunca para luchar contra ellos para que sí nos protejan. Debemos de ser latinos unidos, no latinos para cada uno a su lado. Llamen a los senadores, escríbanle y demanden acción. Demanden que pasen leyes de sentido común, como la bandera roja, como subir la edad para comprar una pistola, para prevenir más muertes en las escuelas públicas. Yo quiero ver latinos unidos. Yo quiero ver a mi gente latino luchando hasta que estas leyes de sentido común sean una realidad. Luchemos juntos y luchemos todos. Que Dios los bendiga. And to the victims in Buffalo and to all other victims of gun violence, may God bless you too. And don't give up. And for those of you watching, don't wait until it's your turn to take action. Take action now. Thank you.
Congress, can you hear us? Are you listening? Don't look away. Don't look away. Don't look away. We're now going to hear from a fierce activist, survivor, and mother who's going to take us home because the action doesn't stop now. It continues. Thank you, Brenda.
She said all of that, but what she didn't say is that I'm first and foremost the mother of Sean Moss. I stand here advocating on his behalf, advocating on the behalf of those standing behind me, because we've locked arms to inform Congress that we're not going away. And just in case you didn't have an English lesson, don't is a contraction. It means do not. And it comes with consequences when you don't follow the instructions. So Congress, don't look away, because we're still going to be here. And your consequences consequence for looking away is that you'll lose your job. Don't act like you don't hear us, because our voice will get louder and your sleep will become restless. Don't think that we got here being scared. We are a fearless group, and the faith that's within me makes me keep going. I say to all of you, don't get discouraged. Don't stop. Don't quit. Don't forget all of the gun violence that you've seen in the last 2 weeks. Don't get comfortable, because action is not comfortable. Action moves you out of your comfort zone. So I challenge you, get out your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone. If you got to do it with tears running down your face, get out of your comfort zone. If you got to grab somebody's hand, get out of your comfort zone. There's a word in the Pledge of Allegiance that came to mind when I was asked to speak. And that word is indivisible. Just in case you don't know, I'm going to tell you what it means. It means that we can be divided, but there's always a remainder. So Congress understands something. You may try to divide the country, but Moms Demand Action is the remainder. You may try to divide survivors, but survivors are the remainder. Just know you cannot divide power that is sticking together with everything they got. Be indivisible. Be indivisible. If everybody don't go, you go. If mama don't go, you go. If daddy don't go, you go. Survivors, if don't nobody else go, we go. This is what we demand. Why? Because we fight until we win.